Hello everybody, welcome to Betway's Weighted to Win. It's the last word or the final say, or whatever phrase you want to use, as we talk to the guys, the legends in horse racing. Anton Marcus is here, 5-time winning jockey of the Hollywoodbets Durban July. Michael de Kock is here, multiple champion trainer, multiple winner of this fantastic race. And Sean Tarry is here, also multiple champion trainer and multiple winner of the race as well. Of course, Daryl Marie, our form expert on Weighted to Win, joins us and analyse the form. But let me say to you, Michael, Mount Edgecombe, too beautiful.
Magnificent club. Some very fond memories here, at least twice a week.
Lovely, that's fantastic. So you're enjoying retirement?
Love it.
Sean, lovely to have you too. I mean, this time of the year is just great.
Yeah, listen, for me it's been busy, we up and down, but Durban this time of the year is the best kept secret in the world, I'm sure. Best winter, and beautiful to be here.
Beautiful. Anton, you live here now, this is your home, and it's just great to be in your presence. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me here, Clyde.
And Daryl studied already, ready to go, eh? Got the
I'm
quartet.
a bit out at the weights of the year, but let's hope I can run above my
Knowledge
rating.
weights, weights they talk. Anyway, there's 15 million rand, they basically predicting, a 15 million rand quartet pool. Maybe we can work it out, get some money out of that. I just wanted to chat to the guys, if I may, about the bottom 10 in the market, if I can. The likes of Meridius, Master Adute, Double Superlative, without question, Son of Raj. If we need to touch on those, or if you guys have a particular comment you want to make about any of those I mentioned. Sean, to start with you, maybe, anything?
I don't think Son of Raj is out of it on form, question mark Gravel, and obviously Nell's horse, Master Redoubt.
Yeah.
Has got some sort of claim, stamina horse, but also shown well enough over lesser trip. I think he could be a quartet horse.
Anton and Daryl, anything from the bottom end that you want to make reference to that we've spoken about?
Clyde, Son of Raj, I think Gravel's an area of concern for me. And he's done nothing since the Derby, and I think he was very lucky to get into the race.
Okay. And Daryl, from your perspective?
I'm not a fan of the
Cortex?
Jubilee form line.
Yeah.
Prior to that, he hadn't shown enough recently to be taken seriously. Listen, they're all quartet runners, but can I see them winning? No.
Michael, I want to come back to you, just talk about Aragosta and Shoemaker. We know when you started out with Shoemaker, you made it clear to everybody he's a very, very good horse. Aragosta hasn't really let anybody down. He's an honest performer. How do they fit in the race? What are you seeing at home and what do you see in the race here for them?
Yeah, look, Shoemaker's a horse that's out at the weights. I think it's about 6 pounds. He's been a horse that's been plagued with problems all his life. You never really go into a race having 100% prep with him. This is probably one of the first times I've actually been fairly confident about his prep. I mean, it has to be the July, but I mean, he's just been one of those horses. You don't want to leave him out. Aragosta's a hard knocker. He's raced in Joburg, Durban, Cape Town. He has got lines of form with every horse in the race. He's got a good draw, but you need a fair bit of speed to hold your position from a good draw. Something he lacks. For a form student, he's quite a good horse to get collateral lines of forms.
You're correct. It's brought a whole lot of horses, that particular collateral form line that Mark's talking about, into the race with chances. So people are now seeing this as an open race, where in the beginning it was all about green with envy. Perhaps that's not the case. Future Pearl and Cousin Casey, Shaw, let's chat about them. I mean, firstly with Future Pearl, we know that at the end of the day, Future Pearl knows how to put it together when it comes to the ground. And the acceleration this horse has got is quite unreal. It's got a great burst of speed.
He's a lovely big horse, massive strides. He could work with my best milers. He's not a one pacer. There's none of that. If you look, he had 2 runs, one over 14 and one over a mile. They were bad. It's because he wasn't right. He wasn't ready. And for me, you can just put a line straight through that. I mean, his run to Royal Victory was a much better run. We were nowhere near ready, and we were disappointed with his penultimate when he went to the front. Didn't work for him. Source is in the good space. Obviously, we know it's short of his best distance, but you know what? He's getting stronger. He's nearly 5, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a horse like this get a blow. He's got an affinity with Gravel, and I think that's a big plus, because there are a few horses that are Gravel specialists, but there's a good few that are not great at Gravel, and I think that's in his favour. He's had a perfect preparation, and there's nothing that I would want to have done differently going into this race. Cousin Casey is a different story, because the twice that I've put him over ground, he had no chance of settling. He was above himself. He was pulling from the off, and it dampened your enthusiasm for putting him over ground. But if I look back on his form, he's run to see it again in the Daily News at level weights. He gets beaten 2.5 lengths. He gets interfered with, and now he gets 4 kilos. He runs in the Met, gets beaten 1.5 lengths going to the front. So he's certainly got signs that he can get it. He's not a no hope of getting the trip. In terms of his preparation, absolutely spot on. I couldn't ask for anything more. He looks a picture. He's moving well, and not an easy task to settle him from the draw. But if that does happen, he's a big runner.
Well, it's great to hear the confidence coming from the Tarry stable. 2 live runners in the race. Certainly from a quartet perspective, make sure they go in. If they're not in the first 2, make sure they slot in your 3rd and 4th options. Daryl's purple pitcher, I find him to be the kind of horse that I was listening to Kabela Matsanyani, and he was saying, you've got to get him up there. You've got to make sure he stays focused, and that if he's bound to get away, you've got to work at him for him to do that. But he's got a lot of courage, this horse.
No, Clyde, I think he could have finished a little bit closer in his prep run. He did take a slight ease for Strada 2. I'm of the opinion Gravel's not going to be suited. He's not going to be suited to Gravel. I just think no doubt he's gutsy and he's determined and he can fend them off, but I don't think he's got quite the turn of foot that a horse needs to win the July.
Yeah.
I see him being up handy, I see him being challenged and fighting as hard as he possibly can.
But not staying on. He can't fend them off.
No.
Okay.
I'd like to see him more on a testing track. I think that's where he performs best.
Interesting to see what he does on the big day. Barbaresco, Anton's a very interesting runner. Coming out of the Daily News, we know what happened 800 metres out, took a nasty bump, perhaps lost his momentum or whatever the case may be. But there are a few bullish on this horse. Where do you place him?
Claude, I think the most important thing is that he settles. It's imperative that Gavin gets him out there and gets him to drop his head, and he needs to do that early, I think he'll have all the favours from barrier 2, and he'll be finishing. But for me, there's a question mark about the distance, despite the fact that Gavin is very confident that he will see it out.
Yeah, and I believe I'm hearing he's going to make the weight.
I have no doubt he'll make the weight.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Did you have to do that in your time with this July in particular? Sorry, forgive me I can't remember. Did you have to come down?
For the July and maiden plates.
Great.
For the best part
What was your riding weight generally? 57?
For the best
58?
part of 39 years.
Oh, yeah. Not easy.
Not easy, Claude.
Well, it's glad to see that you're well. Flag man, Mike, let's talk about this horse. Obviously, the draw is a concern, but he's had a handful of runs. He's come good. They rate him. He's got lots of ability. Where do you place him?
Yeah, obviously, draw. You can keep out of trouble from the draw as well. It depends on what the tactics are going to be. It's a beautifully actioned horse. Inexperienced is the word I'd use on him. If one thinks that the Daily News was only his 6th run, and he keeps rising a level every time. If one watches the Daily News, watch this horse after the post. He runs out very well. He kicks on. And I think he was probably a little intimidated out at the rail by Green with Envy.
Yes.
Although he did go there and Green with Envy went to him. But I think there's a horse that's, they definitely haven't got to the bottom of him yet. And it looks like he has a big upside to come. There should be no problem with the distance, obviously.
Does he make your
pedigree.
top 4, Michael?
He does, because I rate the 3-year-olds very highly.
Okay, that's interesting. Very nice horse. Put up a tremendous gallop that the public could see. And let's see what he does. Winchester Mansion, last year's winner, Sean. Let's just talk about this guy who comes into the race, Brett Crawford and James. Well, James in particular is quite bullish about Winchester Mansion, actually. But do you give him another chance again this year?
On ability, he's definitely got a chance. His form is very consistent. He did come out fresh in the last Group 1 that he ran second in. But I'm not a fan of that type of prep. I preferred his prep last year, where he has you know, having a good few preps up and down, and yeah, obviously July winner with this weight, it's a big plus. I got a question mark next to the preparation.
Yeah. Now, on that basis, Oriental Charm, Anton has had the same prep that Winchester had last year, as I understand it, coming into the race. So I know that the horse, we spoke about it, you and I, in the gallops when we had our gallop preview, which has reached, just by the way, 5,000 views if you don't know. Anton is that popular. But I remember you saying this is like your top 1 or 2, is that right?
Well, he fits into my top 4. You know, it was no mean feat winning the Cup Trial, conceding weight to older horses. You have to respect that. It was a win full of merit. And he's going to be up there. He's going to be out of trouble, you know. It wouldn't surprise me to see him going out there and making the pace as well.
What do you think of the pace this year, Anton? Where do you see it going? I mean, what's the plan? I mean, Richard Fourie was saying 70% of the July races are run at a muddly pace. It's not really on. So what do you do if you get a slow pace this year again?
Look, in all probability, you know, either Oriental Charm or Purple Picture. You know, that's...
Yeah.
I see one of those two going out there and making it.
Yeah.
You know, Purple Picture is pretty tenacious as well. And in order for him, you know, to use that attribute, he's going to have to throw down the gauntlet, you know, and he's going to have to get rolling. So
they're likely to be up there, right?
In all probability,
In all
yes.
probability, okay. Royal Victory, Michael, I just want to talk to you about Naty Cotton's horse. He's had a tremendous run with it. Lovely sort. Flying the flag well for Natal. Where does he, for you in this year's race, is it unrealistic to see him winning? Or
He's one of the better older horses around. Now proven at a Group 1 level, and Naty's stuck to his prep. You know, he likes to gap at sort of 6 weeks with his horse between runs. So you can't fault the prep. The form has turned out reasonably well behind Dave the King, I think, in that, not the mile, in the Pinnacle.
Yes.
Where I'm pretty sure that they definitely didn't want to win that. Let's put it that way. So it's been pretty good. He's up in the weights. He's now giving horses 3 kilos that he beat before, you know, length, 2 lengths, 3 lengths at Turfentine. I think he's a way better horse at Turfentine in terms of long straight. He seems to, he comes on hard late. He gets going late.
Yeah.
And I see that. I don't think they'll change anything. So the harder they go, the better it's going to be for him, for sure. If it's one of those canter and sprint races, it will definitely not help.
Okay, so it's definitely, whatever happens, Royal Victory goes into the quartet. Future Swing, Darryl, let's talk about this horse. Shortened into third favourite, so there's interest in the market in the horse. What your take on Future Swing?
Claude, that has to be strictly down to the Richard Fourie factor. Because on paper, he's got it all to do. I mean, several horses have got him stone cold at the weights. He's had a lovely preparation. He's got a neat draw. He's got a great jockey. There are a few positives, but he has to up his game even further now. Based on their last efforts, himself and Oriental Charm, he's going to have to pull out all the stops to confirm that form.
Yeah. Interesting with regards to Future Swing. Paper, small chance. Richard Fourie's had such a wonderful season that if you were asked to write the end of the chapter, you would write that he rode the Hollywoodbets Durban July winner on top of what he's already achieved. That would be the ideal book to read. See It Again now and Green with Envy. Let's chat about both of them, Sean. I saw Green with Envy drifted when he was in the Daily News 2000. He hung across. Dean was on air the other day. He didn't keep it quiet that the horse was cut into. He had a bit of a joint issue. 3-4 days, but didn't matter to him in terms of his preparation. He said that he hasn't interfered with his prep at all. He's just worried about the weight.
So, I mean, this horse has been impressive. It's hard not to be impressed by what he's done, the way he quickens up in races. And, you know, just when you think he's actually hit top gear, he seems to find another kick. And, you know, that's been impressive, although we didn't see it last time. But I just felt that that race, I would put a line right through. It was such a mess. I definitely wouldn't hang my hat on that race, and there's so much other form to look at. I think he has got a big weight. We saw that type of weight undo See It Again last year. It is a tough task, but this is the best 3-year-old around, and You know, it's up to him now to up his game and get the job done. But he has got a tough task at the weights. It's not going to stop him winning.
Sure. See it again with that top weight. What do you think?
See it again. I think again, you know, second run, I'm not a great fan of that, just 4 weeks or whatever it was. But, I mean, they know where they were with the horse. They know what's still to come. And it depends how he's come out of that last run and if he's come forward. I have to give myself a chance, Cousin Casey, with a 4 kilo pull, and there were short heads in it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I'm saying, you know, how's he going to up his game and carry the weights in his second run? I mean, he's a very good horse. He's the best horse in the country. So if any horse is going to be able to do it, it's him.
It'll be him, yeah.
But I just think we haven't seen that fire that we saw coming into the July last season.
You were saying that, you know, in terms of prep, it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. You know, I'd actually rather not run a horse. A bit like Sparkling Water, a bit like Winchester Mansion is now. He's coming off the same prep, then run it once. Either give it 2 or give it none. That's the way I see things. So let it go in there and run pretty fresh. Because that second run can knock them down, for sure. He was hanging a bit. As Sean says, just on lines of form, 4 kilo turnaround with Cousin Casey. And if you look at the race, they probably took off almost together. He may have been slightly behind him. But he doesn't get past Cousin Casey. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would definitely have liked to have seen another run. Weight for age terms, if this was a weight for age race, he only gives Green with Envy 2 kilos. He's given him 4.
Yeah.
Is he 4 pounds better than Green with Envy at the same stage? No. Because if you look at I think he came into the July for 124. Am I right? Daryl, you're the form guru. He's now, was he 124 in the July last year?
Yeah.
Green with Envy's a 127. So at the same time of the year, he's rated 3 pounds better than he was.
See it again, yeah.
See it again. And yet, at weight for age terms, he's 4 pounds better off than him. So he's got a tough task to beat the top 3-year-olds, or that top 3-year-old in Green with Envy. Green with Envy last time, I think by Craig's own admission, it wouldn't have been the greatest ride. He got a little bit far back, and the race was a mess. I can imagine from his point of view, sitting back there, watching what was going on in front of him. He can be forgiven to panic a little bit. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
He did everything wrong and won. That for me was the impressive part about him winning in a messy race, and still did it. You know, these really good horses, often you don't have to make excuses for them, and they get us and jockeys out of trouble.
Yeah. They're champions, aren't they?
When you've got a true champion, you better tell them. I mean, Anton's ridden multiple Group 1 horses, and I'm sure by his own admission would have told you where he messed races up, and the horse gets you out of it. Am I right, Anton?
Numerous occasions.
Yeah.
Numerous occasions, Anton. Let's talk to you about exactly those two. See it again, and Green with Envy.
Clyde, an interesting observation. Barring See It Again's most recent break, prior to that, he had 2 lengthy layoffs. And both second run after layoffs, interestingly enough, he actually came and won both of them.
Ah, okay.
So I'm actually not...
Well, that puts beat to that story, no more worries.
So I'm not overly concerned pertaining to that fact, you know. Coming to Green with Envy, I thought it was amazing that he actually got up and he won last time. You know, I mean, he did a 650-meter swoop and hit the front at the 300. Uncharacteristic for him, hung right across the course and still won. So he's by far the best 3-year-old over ground currently.
Yeah.
I think the worry is that he's going to encounter traffic problems. Because I don't see Craig bustling and trying to change tactics too much. He's going to be given a chance. Of that, there's no doubt. How many horses are going to be in front of him turning for home? He needs luck in running this horse. And he's got the capability, he's got the turn-off foot to pick them off. So I can see him winning, most definitely. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. And I agree with the panel that I thought his last start, he might have run slightly below. So I'm keen to see how he goes, Clyde. But See It Again, I thought that it was a cracking prep run last time out. You know, this horse isn't a miler. He is not a miler, Clyde. So we heard, unfortunately, from the connections after the Met that he wasn't the horse they knew him to be. going into that race. So if you excuse him for that run, you have to respect his
as
chances
Sean
in a
says,
huge way.
I mean, the best, one of the best in the country. So let me stay with you, Daryl. Let's talk about the quartets, your top 4, that people have to include, and make sure that we are on the same page. What does Daryl Marie like that can fill the frame to enable punters to catch the quartet?
Well, Clyde, I'm hoping Oriental Charm settles. I know he's going to push forward. He has had a tendency to over-race in the past. If he can be up handy without having to exert too much energy and relax, I think he may contest the finish. And I'm going to be leaning towards him. Obviously, I've got healthy respect for See It Again and numerous others. Obviously, Green with Envy. Like Mark said, Aragosta on form. He has to be included. I think his only hope is if he goes handy.
Does he make the top 4, Aragosta?
No, you're saying quartet
No, but I'd like to know your top 4. I know we've got to include a lot of horses, but what's your top 4?
I'm going to stick with Oriental Charm as the winner, Clyde. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
I think the quartet is very hard to catch.
Hard to catch. Okay, so
You
Oriental
asking me
Charm. Well, I'd like to know. No. Okay, Anton.
Clive, a very tentative summation, not necessarily in order. Green with Envy, See It Again, Winchester Mansion, Oriental Charm.
There you go. You see, Daryl wasn't hard.
Okay, well, very
Wasn't
similar.
hard. Learned from the masters.
Snap.
Same
Okay.
result. Michael?
Listen, I'm not going to just give you a first 4. I really like Green with Envy. I like Oriental Charm. I like the fact last time he actually gave Shoemaker 2 kilos and beat him. He gave Future Swing 2 kilos when he got beaten in the 1900. And if I go back to the days of Bolt Savano, who won the 1900 and won the July, those 3-year-olds that run well with weights like that are good.
Yeah.
He's clearly improved a lot since the Cape Derby form. Since he's been in Joburg, definitely this is a stronger horse. He's got the weight to turn it around with Green with Envy. But I still like Green with Envy. I think Oriental Charm, most definitely the horse they've got to beat at the weights. I mean, he's got all these older horses stone cold just on those 2 runs, Cup Trial and the 1900. He's better off after beating them.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's going to be if he gets the 2-2, which he really should. Vercingetorix. I mean, they versatile stallion out of a grazing mare. Grazing won the July himself.
Correct.
So
The Derby.
and the Derby, So I mean, I can't see there being a doubt. Obviously, I'd love to see my own horses run well. I think Winchester Mansion, I like what I've seen about him. I'm not too phased about the fact that he hasn't had a run. I'd prefer that than he had one.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be too far off him. Wouldn't be.
And Sean, your top 4, where you looking if you wanted to get this
Yes,
quartet
I'm
right?
a little bit like Mark. I've got a broad blanket. I've got like maybe 6 that I don't think have got a chance, 6 and 6 that I think are the leading lights. But nobody's actually mentioned the fact that that last penalty of Green with Envy. I mean, can you imagine?
What was about?
I think he got 4 pounds. Yeah, he would have had 54, and odds on 8 to 10 would have been a good price.
Yeah.
So I mean, still going to run, and he can definitely still win. There's no doubt about it. Can you imagine that was with 54? And you can count him very unlucky to have got that penalty that he got, in my opinion.
The handicappers have had a big say here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, again, they love injecting themselves into the limelight in July time. It's their game.
We're going to see the outcome now and see who's right and who's wrong here.
They
And the rest
right
of
about the horse's ability. This horse will be better than a 130 in time. There's not even a doubt in my mind about it. But it was a very harsh penalty at the time.
In that race particularly, when you look at the circumstances, the second horse, the third horse,
Best horse in the
whatever
race,
else was
rated to win.
Correct.
Yeah.
And hammered him.
So
no penalty, it'd be a 5 to 10 shot or something
it'd
like
be the
that.
best bet.
Sure.
Royal Victory, everything in his favour. The blinkers came off, it changed, the horse stepped up over ground, big runner. Barbaresco, they say he can't stay, but his pedigree says he can. I'll make him a runner. Green with Envy, I've spoken about. I think Michael's horse is a dark horse for Quartet's Aragosta, definitely. Winchester Mansion, I do like the horse's form. I'm just not hell-bent on the gap. See It Again, there's a question mark on the prep for me, but best horse in the race.
Well, Anton
Gotta have a
said second
chance.
and after the rest they
Got to
win.
have a chance. Oriental Charm done everything right in terms of prep and how he's handicapped. Is he going to settle? That's my question mark. And my two, I think, are runners. I think they're alive. I know the one doesn't get the 2-2, another one the 2-2's too short. That's what I read the newspapers. That's what they're saying. But you know what? I'll take my chances with both of these horses as they've been prepared. And let's see if they're not wrong about one of their distances.
It's lovely to hear the
JP's
confidence.
actually, funny enough, quite a good jockey in front.
Yes,
He's
you can master the pace.
He's deceptively good up front for a bloke that you know you'd hardly think he could count if you speak to him. Sometimes JP, but I mean he's a good kid.
Great.
He's a very good jockey up front.
Well, we'll
But be
note
careful
that.
if he gets a soft lead, be careful.
Yeah, and it may end up that way because they keep going when they do that. So that's taken care now of the Hollywoodbets Durban July in terms of what we've spoken about. You've heard it from our panelists, and it's greatly appreciated. I just want to talk about Double Grand Slam and Silver Sanctuary. I'll start with you, Michael, around Silver Sanctuary. In terms of, I know you rate very, very highly at the end of the day, and where she fits in with Double Grand Slam on Saturday.
Yeah, look, she's been unfortunate to bump into give me another in her same crop. The July was obviously a debate with myself and Kevin. I felt in the Oaks she had every chance and didn't get home. So I was a little worried about the 2-2 obviously as well. She's got very good form early in her career as a miler, winning a handicap at Turfentine. I thought her Guineas run was huge, where a lot of the form is behind her. She's got to beat Double Grand Slam, who's yet to win over a mile.
That's the question.
It's probably our minimum trip, but I'm not convinced it's the best trip. Her best trip's probably 1800. But it's an interesting race. I think there's going to be lots of speed, so it could suit a closer.
Yeah, they're going to fly. Is this the best you've had, Silver Sanctuary, or are you comfortable with the well-being?
How do you mean the best I've had?
Well,
is she the best I've had?
In terms of being at home and her work.
I've had her best I've had her at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought her last run was a very impressive run after a rest. I think she's come on, but she's going to need to have come on to win. And I think she has got speed enough for the mile. She definitely will be closing them down at the end when the race is over. I mean, as I said, I believe it's a minimum trip, but I also believe she's effective over it.
She has the ability to do so. That's interesting. The miles, Silver Sanctuary, very much alive on Saturday. I know, Daryl, you wanted to ask Sean about a couple of runners that you liked, that Sean could just quickly touch on, and then we're going to wrap up our show, everybody.
I just want to know if Sean had a preference between Cosmic Speed and Proceed, and any feedback with regards to Tail of the Comet.
Okay, so let's start with Tail of the Comet. He had a procedure after Cape Town. He needed a big break. I feel that he is not where he was in Cape Town, but we're not far off. In my mind, he'll need this run, but I've always regarded this horse highly, and if he runs fresh, he could just get into the hunt. So I can't tell you with confidence he'll need the run. It looks like he may just need it, but he's a horse that could run fresh, and I think he's got big ability. So it's an open type of race. I can't give you any confidence. He's not particularly well handicapped in that race. But can you leave him out? Well, that you'll have to study and work out yourself. But I can't say yes or no. I would include him in mine, but that's me. The Colts race was interesting because I wasn't going to run Proceed because he drew 20 something or whatever it is, and Cosmic drew well. Richard had won on both, and Richard was riding Cosmic. And then as I started going through the form, we chatted to the owners, and I said the only reason I wouldn't run the horse is if you're looking for the champion 2-year-old. Then you rather leave him in the box, and they were happy to run. His work's very good, Proceed. When I put it to Richard that I'm running both, he said no, he'd rather stick with Proceed.
Interesting.
So there's not a lot between them. I think that the draw has to favour Cosmic, but I'm sort of a little bit more bullish that Proceed is going to get the extra.
Okay.
He's going to enjoy the extra more, maybe.
So both have to go into the play, but perhaps Proceed. That's interesting. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the information, which is very important to all of us. We all need it. Punters, Anton, they need information to get into that winning queue. They thrive on it.
Sure they do.
And it's great having you here. You going to the races on Saturday?
I'll be there, Clyde.
Lovely, lovely to have Anton Marcus out at Hollywoodbets Greyville on Saturday. Thank you, Michael. Great to see you again. Sean, thank you very much. Daryl?
Yeah, I just want to end off saying to Sean, I have studied my form, and I can give him confidence with regards to That's My Baby. I think she's one of the better bets on the card. At 10-1, she represents a lot of value. You saw last time out, in my opinion, she should have won. She actually ran to £1 higher. She should have won, and an extra 200 meters, she wins easing up. So I think she's way better than her rating.
There you go. And that's 10-1. There's something for you. Sean, we need to hear
I'm
from you.
expecting a big run. She's got a lot in her favour. I actually ran her there because I thought I might need a pound or two to actually get in the race. That's where we were in terms of the weights at the nom stage. As it happened, we didn't get the points and we didn't need them, so I wouldn't have probably run her over analysed. But yeah, she's got a good chance. I'm happy with her, and I agree with you.
That's great news. Thank you.
Great news. Not often Daryl Murray
Mrs.
tips
Browning's a runner I'd like to hear from Sean.
Mrs. Browning.
That's Aragosta's sister.
Aragosta's sister.
So Mrs. Browning, we looked at the race. Listen, I'd nominated her for the 1200 and she drew in the bush. This mile was an afterthought. I said, let's take a flyer, supplement, see what we get. We got the draw. I said, well, now let's take our chances. I put a compression mask on her. She settled a bit, changed her bit. And I must say, I mean, she's rated 118. So she's good enough to be in the race. It's just about the trip. She did run 2 really good races over 1450. I think the Tibashina, she maybe got beat about a length and a half. Did do quite a bit. I think there's going to be pace for Africa here, and I think she could end up being in the right position from the draw without over racing or anything like that. So I can't be overconfident, but I think she will be there, and if everything falls in place for her, she could be in the money.
Great. Happy, Michael, with that? Excellent. That's it. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate your time. And again, your loyalty to all of that watches Betway Waited to Win. It's greatly appreciated. We look forward to this iconic event on Saturday.